What's going on, people? It's White Boy and I'm back. I told you I'll be back real quick, and today I want to shout out all my Canadians born in the 90s out there, cause this video right here, this is gonna hit a little harder for them, man. I'm sorry, y'all Americans and Europeans and Asians and whatever, but shout out my Canadians. So growing up, I definitely did not come up in wealth, which I honestly appreciate, because looking at all these spoiled kids these days, it's goddamn disappointing. We didn't have no streaming services and YouTube to keep us occupied every damn hour of the day. Back in the good old days, we used to watch cable TV, alright? So whatever the cable companies decided were on that day, that was what I was gonna watch. There was no other choice. And the only way to know what was on that day was going through the God channel. Yes, there was a whole goddamn channel that would slowly cycle through these pages and show you each little channel and what shows would be on for probably the next 2 hours or so. It's crazy, I know. But the worst, I'd be waiting for a specific channel, right? And more often than not, you already invested maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes into this, alright? And you get into this specific channel, and right before it hits the page, let's say you need to go pee, you sneeze with your eyes closed, maybe your mom calls you in the kitchen, you're like, calm down mom, I'm coming soon, wait! And you turn back around, and then, oh my god, you missed the goddamn page of your channel. And guess what? You can't go back or nothing. There was no controls. You just had to watch another maybe 5-10 minutes, cycle through all the channels, and then wait for it to come back to the channel you wanted. That's fucked up. Honestly, that was just part of the charm of cable television. And the beauty of cable television is that whatever was on was what the fuck you was watching, which I miss. Like, you may think having all these choices now on your fingertips would be nice, but for an indecisive asshole like me, it's the goddamn worst. I always spend hours trying to choose something to watch, and eventually I'll just go to sleep. Cause I miss that window to watch something, and you just get tired, and then you're like, fuck it, I'm kind of tired now, I think I'm just gonna go to bed. But cable throws all that shit out the window, alright? You're just a mindless zombie. You just turn that on, and whatever was on TV, it was decided for you. Like, it forced me to watch shows I definitely would not have given the light of day if I didn't have to choose. But honestly, that's how you find some hidden gems. So when I was a kid, I only had basic cable. And for the youngins out there that don't know what's happening, that's the cheapest of cheap. That's basically so you could just turn on your television. So I'd probably have about maybe 60 channels available, and the rest would just be ear-destructing static. And honestly, there was probably only 2 channels that were actually catered to kids or kind of preteens that age. One was Treehouse. That was definitely target for younger kids, like babies. Just put that shit on, that's your babysitter. And then there was this wonderful, spectacular channel called YTV. And this right here, this was the cream of the crop of late 90s and early 2000s kids television in Canada. YTV broadcasted classics like Hey Arnold, Dexter's Laboratory, SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents, Roly Poly Oly. Roly Poly Oly? Okay, I saying that slow fucked me up, alright, but moving on. We had Courage the Cowardly Dog. We had Cat Dog, Danny Phantom, Pinky and the Brain, Lazy Town, shout out Sporticus, My Life as a Teenage Robot, and that's me just scratching the surface, honestly. I haven't even mentioned that YTV had an anime block every Friday night called Bionics. And my god, this anime block right here, this introduced me and a lot of my friends to the beauty that was anime. For us uncultured youngins at the time, we would call that shit just Japanese cartoons. And I didn't know it at the time, but this started a long love of anime that still exists for me now. It introduced shonens like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Bleach, Inuyasha, Zatch Bell, Yu-Gi-Oh!, got Beyblade, and even Gundam Seed to pubescent wide-eye boy. But I didn't want to get into all that right now, because that's honestly a whole nother video. I could go on a tangent for probably 30 minutes about anime. But just know that until Bionics, many young Canadians like me didn't know cartoons like this existed. I was doing air quotations, alright? So a lot of these shows that I just listed are shows that I'm sure many had access to regardless of where you live. So I'm not going to go deep into detail with those. Because honestly, if you don't know them, then you're either too old, too young, or you're just an uncultured swine. So today I'm hoping to shed some light onto the beauty that was a YTV programming that may not have reached audiences outside of Canada. Now these were hidden gems that honestly not people other than Canadians stuck with basic cable probably remember. But obviously it's not limited to just basic cable Canadians. But I'm saying that those shows are usually the only brought up by others who had a similar upbringing to myself. But before I dive balls deep into all the shows I have listed for myself, for those who watch YTV, then you already know what the zone was, alright? For those who don't, it was a programming block that basically was just like an anchor for all the other shows on YTV. So everything would just wrap back up to the zone, and to this day the zone still exists on YTV, but it's honestly not the same. For my real OGs out there, there are only two hosts of the zone in my eyes, alright? One was the real OG, alright? If you remember Sugar, who was the host when I started watching YTV, and then the second host, the OG host, is Carlos, who was supposedly the janitor for YTV, but it was just a skit. It's kind of fucked up they got someone named Carlos as the janitor, but hey man, back then no one gave a fuck. But Carlos was the last host that I saw on YTV until I moved on up and I eventually got channels like Teletoon and Family Channel, and I just made it out the hood, alright? Even though it was in another suburbia, but hey, what the fuck, man, you gotta hype it up for YouTube. But I would like for everyone to take in that Carlos was the host for 15 years. 15 years of his life he hosted the zone, and he literally left just in 2018. But Carlos moved on up too, man. Now he's like a host or something for Entertainment Tonight Canada. So honestly, yo, shout out Carlos for finally moving out of the zone, man. Good for you, buddy. I'm happy for you. So now I'm just gonna lightly list a few shows which stood out in my memory for shows that I grew up watching on YTV, and just, go over like a light synopsis of each show. I don't know, man. Fuck you, man. Basically, I'm gonna go for a light summary of each show and why they kind of stood out to me. So first on my list, for all those Canadians, I hope you're getting excited right now, because I am. The first show on the list is George fucking Shrinks. George Shrinks. Man, this show was a banger from the theme song to the idea and concept of the show. So basically, George Shrinks is about this 10-year-old kid that's literally 3 inches tall. And this makes him doing the most mundane, basic task into episodes, into like long adventures. Literally from him fishing his parents' ring down a little drain that they drop, or building a fucking snowman, or just trying to defend his picnic away from ants. But you're probably like, how does he even do all that shit, man? This guy's 3 inches tall. This guy's gonna get stepped on. But this is the beauty. This was the beauty. This was the highlight of the show, alright? And to be honest, it was also the plot device to many episodes, but fuck it, it was for kids, man. It was his supercar, alright? I mean, this is like a mini red little car that's just made for him, his little 3-inch ass, alright? And this shit turns to a fucking helicopter, a goddamn submarine, to a fucking drill. I don't know if he does anymore, but I remember those 3 for sure. And this thing, oh, dude, I dreamed about driving this little supercar around. I wouldn't even mind getting shrunk down, man. And the next show on my list is Reboot. If you ever seen this fucking show as a kid, then I'm sure like me, you had no fucking idea what the fuck this show was about, alright? This fucking show stood out to me because it's creepy ass character models, weird ass futuristic world, and to be honest, I just found out on Wikipedia that this shit was the world's first completely CGI animated show. Apparently this was it was about a computer guardian named fucking Bob. Like they didn't even try on with that name, all right? And then he had companions. I think one was like a diner hostess or some shit. Her name was Dot, which was this was like the token girl character. And she had a kid. I guess she was a single mom, cause Bob and Dot, they had some shit going, They had a little relationship going. There's some love in the air. But back on topic. Dot had a kid named Enzo, and then Enzo had a fucking dog. And together they essentially kept its mainframe safe from viruses named Megabytes. And goddamn, Megabyte's character model literally gave me nightmares. You have to realize that CGI was like super innovational at the time, and like so many kids, including myself, have never seen some shit like that. And honestly, I don't remember much from the show, but the show itself is ingrained in my mind forever because of that creepy ass shit. So next up is Monster by Mistake, and Monster by Mistake was another CGI animated show, which might be why I still remember it to this day. So basically, this kid turns into a huge ass blue thing every time he sneezes. But dude, this opening theme song was also a banger. But looking back at these character models, yo, holy shit, man, you're pretty fucking creepy too. I don't remember why, but the main kid had a sister that knew how to do spells and shit off like a little jewel diamond shit, and they lived with a fucking ghost in their attic. He had like a fedora-esque top hats. I don't know, man. And the main villain was some purple goblin with a horn, and they had some this creepy ass bully too. But honestly, this show was weirder than I remembered, but that theme song still bangs in my head till this day, which is probably why it's on my list, man. Oh my god, that theme song. For many here in Canada, this show right here was a cult classic. And the show I'm talking about, right? The show I'm talking about is Big Comfy Couch. Because if you owned a TV in Canada, then honestly, you've watched the Big Comfy Couch. And the concept of the show is pretty damn simple, alright? It's as simple as it gets. It's basically some clown girl named Lunette and her supposed alive doll named Molly. And basically just pulled big ass random shit out of their couch cushions and just solved everyday problems with the shit they found on their big ass couch. And honestly, this show is probably the reason why I shove my hands into random ass couches when I'm just out and about. But you probably saying like, oh, what a boy, that's some gross ass shit. And honestly, I can't even lie. You right. I'm a nasty motherfucker. Like honestly, usually you just find some damn dust, and for some reason peanuts. I don't know why, but there's always fucking like a half peanut in the fucking cushions. But this one time, alright, this one time in IKEA, as a kid, I'm talking like maybe 6-7 years old, I just reached into some random ass chair in IKEA and I found $4. That's 2 fat ass toonies for us Canadians, alright? And those motherfuckers, oh, those some shiny ass toonies. And as a kid, $4, that's hitting the lottery, honestly. I could buy candy. I'm like $1 away from a Yu-Gi-Oh card pack. I go to Pacific Mall, that's like some big ass counterfeit Asian mall we have here in Canada, and I could buy whatever fucking toy I want there, cause all them shit's cheap as fuck. But back to the point, Big Comfy Couch was mostly iconic for what they called the clock stretch, alright? This probably won't make sense for most people watching right now, but if you know about it, then you know, alright? If you don't, I'm gonna try to get a clip playing right now of her doing that shit, but as a kid, that was some weirdly ass hypnotic shit to watch as a fucking kid, alright? You're watching her limber her ass up, right? She got her legs up by her shoulders, by her fucking, oh my god, I don't even know. Honestly, I tried doing that shit as a kid. Goddamn nearly ripped my groin. I don't fucking know, man. That shit's hard to do, that's for sure. So next is goddamn Rupert. So Rupert's one of the biggest hidden gems in this list, and that's mostly because looking at this show itself, I likely would not have watched it, but thanks to the beauty of cable TV, alright, I was forced to give this show a chance. And thank God I did, because this show right here is the definition of expect the unexpected. So this show starts with the most soothing ass theme song I've ever heard in my life. I could sleep to this shit. That's some real ASMR. but while accompanied by visuals of different adventures that basically take place in the show, and surprisingly, which get progressively more and more wild. It goes from Rupert's house, alright, some small little house on the hill as you expect, to him getting swooped up by a giant ass eagle, which brings him to a castle in the sky. Then the next thing you know, this motherfucker sliding down a rainbow slide in space. But just remember that this main character, Rupert, is just some white British bear that's wearing plaid pants, a red t-shirt, and a plaid scarf. Like, I don't know, this show just takes your expectations and blows them out the water. I can't do it justice, so you just gotta YouTube an episode, because there's a shit ton of episodes on YouTube right now. Now on to Jacob Tutu. Okay, Jacob Tutu was one of those shows I knew off the bat was a Canadian ass show, because it always showed a fucking maple leaf around, and always somehow centered around hockey. Like, so basically this kid named Jacob, obviously, and I guess his thing was that he tends to repeat like the last few words, everything he said. Like, he'd say some shit and he'd be like, do 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 do. I mean, that's the fucking speech pattern. But okay, you get my fucking shit, alright? But that was basically all Jacob had. He just fucking repeated shit twice. That's why they called him Jacob Tutu. He wasn't that special. But what made the show special was the fucking reoccurring side characters. Like, somehow everyone around him had a more interesting personality than him. So he had a cooler older brother. Cooler older brother. He had a bratty older sister. He had like two cynical twin brother and sisters. Like, they're not identical twins, but you know what I mean. He had a dumbass good best friend. That was his guy friend. And he had this some French Canadian French friend, and that'd be the token female friend that they might fall in love. Who fucking knows? But the best characters in this show were the staff at his school. So basically be this fat ass power tripping principal, and his name was fucking Greedy Guts. Then there'd be this like creepy dirty ass janitor, and his name was Leo Louse. And then this crazy ass bitchy old teacher, and her name was Miss Sourpickle. Alright, these guys put in fucking work on these names. It wasn't no Reboot Bob, alright? We had fucking Greedy Guts, Leo Louse, and Miss Sourpickle. And it's crazy how all these interesting side characters carried the fucking show for this regular ass Jacob Tutu, whose thing was repeating shit. If the hooded fang means anything to you, then we could be friends, alright? You cool enough. I think we would be friends. Hit me up. Alright, well, I saved the best for last. If you haven't ever watched or heard of Vaughan of the Yukon, then you missed out on one of the biggest fucking bangers of the early 2000s. All I gotta say is Vaughan of the Yukon is a French explorer who gets frozen for about 300 years. Then he gets thawed out by some native kid's dog that pissed on him. And they basically become best friends in the show. And the fucking Vaughan has a French Canadian accent, you know, that type of shit. Some like offensive ass shit. I mean, just look at the intricate character design. But honestly, this show definitely wouldn't survive in this snowflake SJW era. Like, if you search some fucking clips on YouTube, yo, those jokes still fucking hit now. So the beauty of shows and cartoons like this back then, in the day when I was fucking growing up, is that this shit was targeted to kids. But you know, they slide those low-key jokes that for even adults to enjoy, like me right now. And it sucks because that era of cartoons targeted for kids is completely different now, because everyone's getting fucking offended. And shows for kids are just some cookie cutter formula that has to provide some positive message that just slaps you in the face. Lost are the shows that are just fun and entertaining, and they implicitly throw a positive message in there for you to find and figure out for yourself. But I would definitely hate to grow up in this 2010s 2020 era as a kid right now, man. Your shows suck ass. And some shows that are worthy of being mentioned but didn't hit as hard for me, or maybe I just didn't have time, are Being Ian, Babar, Seven Little Monsters, fucking Freaky Stories. Man, this shit scared the shit out of me as a kid, to be honest. And Flying Rhino Junior High, Mona the Vampire, and Martin Mystery, which is basically like the OG Totally Spies if you watch that shit, which I did. Look, I know this video is likely running long, but I felt the need to bring my Canadian viewers down memory lane right now by digging up the CCA commercials. And CCA stands for Concerned Children's Advertisements. And YTV would literally play these commercials like every 10-15 minutes. Some may be wondering like, what the fuck is White Life Boy talking about? But if you remember the House Hippo ad, or the Body Electricity song ad on the white fucking t-shirt, or the What's Your Thing ad, or honestly, I can't do them justice without getting a copyright strike probably. So I'm gonna link a channel below in my description that has all the ads from back in the day, and hope you just go down a nice nostalgic trip down fucking not only my childhood, but hopefully yours too. And if you made it this far into the video, then I gotta say, you either just nostalgic ass motherfucker, or you just really fuck with me and my content. So regardless, I appreciate y'all for listening to me ramble on about my childhood. I can't ask for any more from y'all, so if y'all want, you can hit that like or dislike. If you don't fuck with me, that's fine. You can subscribe if you want to see more random shit like this, but honestly, I love you all, unless you're a serial fucking killer. And